Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now for a session on impact of the fourth industrial revolution on industrial jobs. We'll be kicking off by calling Dr. Aymen Al-Fudhaili. Dr. Aymen, is he around? Dr. Aymen Al-Fudhaili, acting CEO of Madain Industrial Innovation Academy. He'll be talking about the fourth IR. Is it about humanizing robots or automating human being? Dr. Aymen, the floor is yours.
In fact, it's going to be even shorter than that because I'll make it a bit. I'll show you a movie, a clip, and part of a movie. I think everyone has heard one day about a movie called Sully, Tom Hanks. Yeah, we will go through that. We'll visit that movie. But first of all, I'll take you through a snap or maybe flashbacks. Yeah, can we go to slide 2, please? Yeah, I'll take you through a flashback on the history of innovation, starting from Joseph Schumpeter in 1911 when he published his book, which is Creative Destruction. And we'll go all throughout till we reach the fourth industrial revolution concept, why we are talking today about the fourth industrial revolution. So after that, we will just put a question. Are we really automating, humanizing the robotics or automating human being? Myself, I'm not sure. That's why we'll present that question. Then we will check, we will see like a very short clip. After that, we will talk about the challenges faced Tesla when they thought of coming up with Model 3, Tesla Model 3. Finally, we will talk about Tom Hanks. So, back in 1911, when Joseph Schumpeter came up with the concept of creative destruction, he was just questioning one fact: how can firm stay sustained? So, is it? You know that very well, I know. Is it on? Yeah. So Schumpeter, when he came up with the creative disruption or creative destruction concept, he just put one question: how can firms sustain themselves? And he ended up with two main words. And they are the two words that the title of the conference. One of them is the skills, and the other one is the resources. Yeah. Okay. That's fabulous. Yeah. So he said a firm can sustain itself when it combines its resources and come up with new products and commercialize them successfully. Then he said there are five kinds of innovations. Most of you knows that. And then he described two kinds of innovation: incremental and radical. But the question was, what are the kind of resources that we need? Yeah. Edith Penrose, when she came and put her book, The Growth of a Firm, she was just emphasizing on one fact, which is the importance of resources. And she said the most important resources in a firm, it's the skilled employees. Then Barney, when he came in 1991, he was talking about the resources. What kind of resources that a firm can entertain? And if so, what are the characteristics of those resources? He said, for a firm to sustain itself, it has to have 4 characteristics in its resources. The first thing, it has to be rare, which means not everyone has that resources. It has to be valuable, which means that it must have a value. Then it has to be unimitable, which means that you cannot replicate it easily. And the fourth point, non-substitutable, which means that resources, not everyone, you cannot just replace it and bring another kind of resources, so it will be substitutable. This is called the RVIN. But the RVIN works, yeah, but it works in the static kind of world. It will not work in a dynamic world. In a sense, you cannot have those 4 characteristics in any kind of resources if the world is changing. Whatever today is valuable, tomorrow it's not gonna be valuable. Whatever today is unimitable, someday someone will copy it and replicate it. That's why the dynamic capability concept came later by Nelson and Winter, and they said just one fact: routines in work environment equals to genes in human, which means that human can remain and not extinct because simply their genes can adapt and adopt to different environment impact. The same applicable on the organizations. If an organization can develop routine, those routines can play the role of genes in a human being. And to understand that, let's see this clip. So are those human or machines? If we see, they are very fast, they are very accurate, they are really sharp, they make no mistakes. All of these characteristics just applicable for robots. They are not human kind of characteristics, but how they manage to entertain this skills? Because of the routine, they've been doing the same thing every day, once, twice, third, etc., infinity. That's why I reach to this stage of mastery on the everyday business. They are doing it. And I would like just to show one thing here. The father and the son, when he's showing his kid how to make how he bakes the pizza. Let's enjoy the clip. Today, if you bring someone to run this amount of the pulleys, you cannot just, no one can just do it himself. It should be more than one guy. And normally you will need like a machine to do that. Let's see the father and the son. The father was playing with the ajina, and then he managed to copy that skill to his son. Why is that? I'll move to the next slide. Because knowledge, and you know the cognitive structure of knowledge, it starts from data, and data then moves to be information, and finally, and then information can be data, which is like words, letters. Information, when you bring so many data, then this will evolve to be like information. When you put the information in a context, then it will be knowledge. But the top of it, the iceberg, is the wisdom. And trust me, there is no a machine one day will reach to wisdom stage. Why is that? Because knowledge is divided into two kinds of knowledge. There is the tacit and there is the explicit. The tacit knowledge, anything can be codified as tacit knowledge. And when we say codified, it means if I'll ask you guys, go and make me a pancake, you will just go, open the books, you will go through the steps without you sitting next to me and I'm teaching you how to do that. This is codification. But in fact, what we need is personalization, where me sitting next to you and I'm asking, you sit next to me and you understand from me, you interact with me, we talk, we create this context between me and you. By the end of the day, you will be able to copy what I'm doing. And this is what robots cannot do. I'll go to the next slide. All of these occupation, customer service, bookkeeping, receptionists, manufacturing work, soldiers, doctors. Can you believe one day our doctor is going to be robots? That will happen one day for sure. But will you trust robots on your health? I don't know. But one day we will see that kind of jobs going to robotics. But the funny part, if you remember all of those kind of jobs we've seen just minutes ago, the snap that we've been through, all of them belongs to this kind of jobs. Whereas that kind of job which requires wisdom, imagination, thinking out of the books, because always robots will be within that memory. Even if it's in the cloud, still is restricted. There is the other kind of occupation will not be replicated by robotics, which of course you've heard about them: data detective, virtual store Sherpa, man machines, market research analyst. all of these kind of jobs will not be replicated. The only common factor in this kind of job simply is they depend on the guts of the human. There is something neither me nor you can explain it. And to understand what is that, let's go back to Tom Hanks. Or no, before I go to Tom Hanks, let's talk about our friend, Tesla guy, Elon Musk, yeah. When he was so proud of himself and he said, I will automate Tesla factory 95%. And it's just gonna be me and the CEO and the CFO, the only human in that. He couldn't make it, he couldn't manufacture 5,000 Model 3 in 1 month. And everyone remembers when the stock market was declined. When he just realized it will not be replicated, you will never ever be replicating human. He just said 2 statements and everyone was retweeting those statements. He said, we have underestimated human and we have overestimated robotics. That's why when he realized this, he moved to China and he has mixed his factory between human and robotics. Do you know what's the most important job in Disney? Let's see it. It's called Imagineer. Imagineer, guy sitting on the beach, sitting next on the porch, just thinking, imagine, and he comes back to the COO, CFO, everyone in Disney and tells them, guys, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you think one day we will see something in Netflix story by robotics? It will not happen. Never will not happen. And to understand that and to materialize it, let's see how solely Tom Hanks dealt with the flight crash. Can we see the clip, please? I tried last night, the whole night, to edit this scene. So I hope it's clear.
Birds.
Whoa.
The engine was destroyed by the birds. So he has to make a very important call. The AI was advising him to go back to the airport, but he didn't do what AI told him.
What about over to our right? Anything in New Jersey, maybe Teterboro?
Okay, yeah, off your right side is Teterboro Airport. LaGuardia departure, got emergency inbound.
This is Teterboro Tower, go ahead.
Cactus 1549 of the GW Bridge. Needs to go to the airport right now.
Check, does he need assistance?
Yes, bird strike. Can I get him in for runway 1? Cactus 1549, we'll try and go to Teterboro.
Obstacle, obstacle. Obstacle. Too low, terrain.
50, 40, 30, 20.
All kind of math, all kind of AI suggested he cannot make it. Can we stop here? Can we pause just to bring everyone up to speed? Just to be on the same page, because the next dialogue is very important to understand that the distinct difference between human being and robotics. Now, Tom Hanks has just made his call. He decided something against AI, and he decided to land on the sea. He's then been accused of irresponsibility. So he was about to be fired from being a pilot. There will be now like a jury to decide his future. How he managed to defend himself? Let's see.
Runways, 2 successful landings.
We are simply mimicking what the computer already told us.
You know, a lot of toes were stepped on in order to set this up for today. And frankly, I really don't know what you gentlemen plan to gain by it.
Can we get serious now?
Okay, just to continue the story. When he said, can we get serious now? He was saying there is the human factor. There is that human factor which no one knows. When computer put the mimic, the simulation, it was suggested if he go back, he can make it. But he was asking one simple question. The computer is being given 3 or 4 scenarios. That's why it managed to bring the airplane back. But for himself, he was supposed to deal with all kind of uncertainty and clarity, ambiguity, and he needed to make his call because it wasn't about the plane, which was the computer machine was looking at it. It was about the 150 souls on that airplane. That's why he made his final call and he decided to land on the sea and he made it. This was like a real true life story happened. The AI suggested to go back where the human being said, no, I will land. I'll save the human being. That's why even one day we decided to go very simply why the autonomous car are not getting there despite the fact that the best AI programmers, computer, even with the quantum computing, it will not happen. It's not coming. You will not be able to unless you put very specific scenarios where you give your soul to a car and you trust it where there is no any other cars coming from outside or there is no like a cat moving or any unknown circumstances. This is my understanding. I was just thinking loudly with you guys and I'm confident, at least in not my era, we will not be able to see a storyteller who is a robotics. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aymen. Very impressive, sharp, short, yet very impressive and very deep.